Well, hello. How are you doing? It's me, it's Craig. And if you weren't aware, all the team here at Fludded have become aware that Snow White has been remade since the 1937 cartoon. Let's take a little sort of trip. Well, before I do that, let's look at the tweet that the 22-year-old just out of her crib actor has had to say about the role she's got. Now, this is Rachel Zegler. She's pretty much gone from high school, answered a tweet that she saw on her phone on the bus on the way home, and went, oh, I'll apply for that, got the job, and then has, just become millionaire making movies for woke Hollywood. Now, Disney have cast her as Snow White, and if you didn't know, Zegler isn't Snow White. She is... I think she's Colombian. Her mother's Colombian, father's Polish. I think she identifies as black. I don't know. It's so not interesting. But there she is, smiling sweetly at an interview from Variety. And there's Gal Gadot there as well, who's going to play the evil queen in this film, or does. And it's just interesting just to listen to what she has to say. Let's have a listen.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be.
Right. Okay. So, it's no longer 1937, but the actual film has credited all the writers from the 1937 film. So I think they're using a lot of the script from the 1937 film. But if you actually look at what she is wearing in this film, you can see, if I just find the picture, here you go. This is what she's wearing. And it's like a yellow dress with like blue puffy shoulders, sort of like little splayed out collar and red slits in the shoulder pads or whatever they are, the puffy shoulder things. And let's just have a quick look at what Snow White was wearing in the 1937, which it is no longer 1937, guys, just so you didn't know. Look, she's wearing a yellow dress with little blue shoulder things with red slits in. And she's got like a little white collar. So it's exactly the same outfit from the 1937 show. And here are all the dwarves. Now, the dwarves were actually given names by Disney. They weren't, the Brothers Grimm didn't write names for the dwarves. If you didn't know, the original Snow White was not written by Disney. It is from original story by the Brothers Grimm, published in 1812. Is no longer 1812. So I guess Disney in 1937 said, well, it's no longer 1812. So we've done our own version here at Disney and brought it bang up to date by giving the dwarves names. And you can sort of see sort of the characters here. And there's the prince. It looks like he's got a flute or something. And there she is in her glass case. Now, the original story has nothing to do with the prince saving her. What happened was he appears and he appears and finds her in this glass case because it's like a coffin that they've made for her. They make this little glass coffin for her because she's choked on an apple and they think she's dead. And he arrives and he says, well, let's go back to my castle. And as they're carrying her back, the glass case falls and breaks and it dislodges the apple from her throat and she starts breathing again. That's all that happens in the Brothers Grimm version. She's not saved by any prince. So... It's unfortunate that Rachel Zegler hasn't got a freaking clue what she's talking about. Doesn't seem to know the original story. And it's just extremely annoying stuff, to be honest with you. But let's have a listen to the rest of what she says.
Going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
So this is identity politics and feminism, because what the hope is that a lot of sort of youngish or young women will hopefully be inspired and see themselves in film and be inspired to go on to become fantastic leaders. And that's what's not been happening apparently, because she's only 22, but she's got a firm grasp of history and how oppressed women have been. And Gal Gadot is standing there listening to this, and I like Gal Gadot, and it's just disappointing to see her fall into these traps.
And the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
Her father told her that she could be a leader if she was fearless and true. Okay, so it's also kind of like, oh God, look at that. It's also kind of, sort of men are bad, and men aren't. It's not just men who can be heroes. It's not just men who are strong, and it's also a challenge to the original sort of the original traits of storytelling. The prince saving the princess. And it's also like taking a little bit of the romance. Well, it's taking all of it. I think she actually says that it's not like a romantic thing. Let's have a listen again.
To it.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
We absolutely wrote a Snow White. So it's excruciatingly annoying. We didn't write anything. She has nothing to do with the writing. The writing has all been done by, if I can just share it with you. The writers were Dorothy Ann Black from the 1937 film adaptation, Richard Creedon, Merrill, Otto, Greta Gerwig. She wrote the script. But she was absolutely borrowing, I would presume, from the 1937 and the 1812 version of the story. The director, Mark Webb, did The Amazing Spider-Man. He directed that, but he's like more a TV pop music video director. So, good luck to them. I hope the film is hugely successful. And I think that we do at some point have to sort of weigh up, are all these steps that are being put in place to kind of like to push women and people from minorities into beating the patriarchy, which I think is what this is trying to do. The thing is, they have to. If these people are getting these roles just because of their identity rather than their skills and abilities, then the result is that the films and all the projects that are being made and are going to be crap because it's not enough. You might get lucky, but it's not enough. These people need to have the skills and abilities to pull it off. So let's see. With Barbie's being a huge success, but you can't really. Which obviously Greta Gerwig's the director of. I don't know if she wrote it. I'm not sure. Probably did. But it's a huge success. But I think that's a lot to do with it was absolutely plastered everywhere, and it was covered by all the news. It was given such prominence in people's minds that it became like a trendy almost cult thing to do, like a big chapter in our lives for people to dress up in pink and go to the cinema. So it became an event. So that film's obviously done very well, even though a rumor has it the film's not actually very good. Although it looks, I think, very impressive in terms of the design, but I've got no idea whether it's any good or not. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. The film hasn't been written by Zegler or any of the we that she's referring to.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's
not going to be dreaming about true love. It's a romantic story. The original story is a romantic story, which is kind of like... is there something wrong with like the prince and the princess story? There seems to be. I suppose it's because women don't like to be portrayed as like, oh, here comes my prince to save me, and that's fine. But what is the modern version of that? Is the modern version of that to make the man into like a pathetic person? It doesn't seem. It seems to be the modern version. That the correction to that is just to totally reverse it and make the woman the prince and the man the princess. That's not correcting it, if you're going to correct it, sure, you just have to have them as equals and almost indifferent to each other, certainly not attracted to each other. Like, hello, how are you? I'm fine. I just happen to have my throat stuck in a piece of apple, but I've sorted it now and I don't need you. Well, I'm very glad that you don't need me because I know you don't need me. You're a strong woman and I'm a strong man. I'm going to go and chop down some trees now. Well, fine. I'll be chopping down some trees as well, Prince. Even though I'm a princess, that's what I do. You know, it's kind of, it's just shit. It's so shit. And there's no dynamic that I can see. It feels like finger wagging. Zegler is 22 years old, so I have zero respect for any of her life experiences. Gal Gadot should know better. But Gal Gadot is not the smartest cookie when it comes to understanding politics. She was shoulder to shoulder doing exactly the same looks like that to the guy from Flash. And this was like weeks before he went and like strangled, put his hands onto women and was violent and an all-around nasty guy with being arrested several times. She had the same proud look to him because he ticked a lot of identity boxes for her and she needs to be strong and support these people. And this is what it's all about. It seems to be very little about filmmaking to me. It's all about changing how you think and how you behave, social engineering, and I can guarantee that storytelling is storytelling. You're not going to be able to beat what it is that people enjoy in films, and we're going to see it when we see films like with Tom Cruise is always going to be the male, almost macho hero in movies unless he decides. And the day he stops doing that is your flop. Your Tom Cruise flop. So, I don't know how much more to say about this. I mean, I think let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, we didn't look at the characters. So there are some. They've replaced the dwarves with these fellas. Oh, sorry, one's a girl. There you go. There's the new dwarfs. Can you see them? Fantastic, isn't it? And if you're wondering where the last one is, he's down there. There we go. That's the... I don't want to go and see it. I think it's laughable and it's embarrassing and that it will probably... You see, the thing is, the people who are like going, yeah, this is so cool, it's so great, they don't go and see it. They don't like it. They don't buy the DVDs because they're not film fans. They're activists. They're not interested. They're interested in Hollywood doing it because they like the idea of them changing stereotypes, but they're not going to go and give money to Hollywood and watch their films. So the films flop. So you go broke is what people start tweeting out, because this stuff isn't going to make you money because people don't like being told that they're racist or they're sexist, and this is, and that we live in a patriarchy and all men are bad. People don't like that. Women don't like it, men don't like it, but nobody's allowed to say it because the system that's been set up by the activists is that if you do say it, you'll get cancelled, you'll lose your job. We're finding out now you're going to lose your bank account, and the companies, the companies have kind of orchestrated and are so afraid of these people that they've gone along with them. Stonewall is heavily into penalising companies that don't fly the trans flag outside their businesses. You're given a low score by them. If you get a low score, then you're seen. Then you're going to get people tweeting about you being a hateful organisation. So the companies are terrified, and this is where we're at. But I've got zero interest in seeing this film. The casting looks terrible. The design is just a copy of 1937. And we're being told that it's not a prince and princess story, which is, although the film's not designed for me, it's just a shame because I can appreciate it for as a kids film as well. But I don't know if this is what kids want, then it will do it'll do well. But if it's not, it will absolutely flop, absolutely, and it'll be an absolute disaster.